Hello, my little angel. Are you ready for today's story? Very good. Today, we tell a tale called The Legend of the Penguins and the Polar Bears. Let's begin. Once upon a time, in a pristine and ancient land, two races of extraordinary power divided the world. The Pegucian tribe possessed majestic wings and armor as black as an eagle's feathers. They soared through the heights at the speed of the wind, ruling over wide steppes and rolling mountains. In contrast, the Gautr tribe were warriors of the earth, clad in snow-white fur. They were fearless and endowed with such unmatched strength that they could lift giant boulders with their bare hands. They governed the boundless old forests and fertile plains. But what they had was never enough to satisfy their greed. The two tribes were forever plunged into perpetual warfare. Each side yearned to be the absolute master of the world, wanting the other to submit to its rule. For thousands of years, smoke and fire filled the skies, bringing misery to all living beings, yet neither side could claim victory. God Atla, the supreme deity of the land, finally appeared. Weary of the chaos and the suffering caused by the two races, he manifested in human form. He wore a crown inlaid with 5 divine stones that held the power of the oceans, and in his hand, he carried a glowing trident, the source of his magical might. God Atla ordered the son of the Gautr chieftain to marry the daughter of the Pegucian chieftain as a covenant for peace. Neither tribe was eager, but they accepted under God Atla's stern threat. Even so, neither tribe would set foot in the other's territory. After days of arguing, they requested to hold the ceremony at God Atla's abode. Despite living at the very bottom of the deep sea, God Atla agreed to appease them. He took the crown from his head and threw it into the waves. Suddenly, pillars of water shot up into the sky, revealing a stunning marble castle as grand and massive as a city. The palace sat atop God Atla's giant crown, supported by its 5 sharp peaks, which acted as mighty pillars hovering amidst the deep blue sea. To guide the two tribes, God Atla struck his trident into the center of the sanctuary. Immediately, a massive trident-shaped path rose from the ocean, linking the mainland to the god's castle. It was a great wonder, a testament to his absolute power. On the big day, music filled the air with joy, and flags and flowers adorned every corner. Guests from both tribes gathered in great numbers. No one was allowed to carry weapons, yet the glances they exchanged were still full of suspicion and hatred. When the ceremony began, God Atla personally guided the bride and groom into the bright sanctuary. In the solemn air, as God Atla lifted his hand to give a blessing, something shocking happened. The groom, using the brute strength of the Gautr, lunged forward to grab the trident. Before the god could react, the prince pinned him to the ground. He planned to steal the supreme power to make the Gautr eternal rulers and wipe out the Pegucian tribe. But at that moment, the entire castle trembled with great force. Everything began to tilt and sway. Suddenly, all members of the Pegucian tribe flapped their wings and soared high into the sky. As it turned out, they were just as treacherous. They had secretly removed the 5 divine stones from the crown's peaks. Without these stones, the castle's energy faded. The Pegucian believed they could fly to safety, while the wingless Gautr would be trapped forever at the ocean's bottom. The marble castle, losing its foundation, began to falter. Though pinned down, God Atla's eyes blazed with a fire of fury. This double betrayal caused his power to fade, but in his pain and indignation, he let out a roar that shook the heavens and the earth. He realized that no matter how much favor he showed them, they possessed nothing but greed and envy. With his last bit of strength, God Atla surged up, throwing off the prince and the trident. He flew into midair, and a blinding light pushed everyone away by hundreds of meters. The god looked at the faithless ones and pronounced his final curse. From this day forth, your greed and hatred shall strip you of your human form. Tribe of Gautr, go to the coldest place where there is only snow and ice. You shall never set foot on fertile soil again. Tribe of Pegucian, keep your wings, but you shall never again soar into the sky. You, too, must go to the most distant and frozen ends of the world. In an instant, the Gautr were exiled to the far north, becoming solitary polar bears. The Pegucian lost their ability to fly and were pushed to the far south to become penguins. Since then, the white bears of the north and the penguins of the south have never met again. It is an eternal lesson about betrayal and the price of greed. God Atla's splendid castle vanished beneath the waves. Later generations whispered that the place was Atlantis, the lost city. The path to the castle also sank, leaving only a trident-shaped strip of land that remains to this day. The story ends here. Now, close your eyes and sleep tight, my dear.